All right, time to bring on Mina Kimes. We're very excited about this. Our favorite part of the week. Well, not mine, because I'm not here usually when we do this with Mina. But Mina, I will tell you, I was very disappointed. You gave a hot bowl take. The camera was right up in your face, okay? They were trying to get you to do what they get me to do around here. And your bold take, and you and I have worked on this. We've been in the lab together. We've worked on hot takes. Your hot take was the Chiefs are going to make it to the AFC Championship game, a place they have been to for the last 5 seasons.
Okay, I want to say, when was this, 2 weeks ago?
I think
it was.
Yeah.
Mike, you were there. Several other people who were here were there. I think that take was a bit hotter a couple of weeks ago. Now it feels like a foregone conclusion. At the time, Mike, everyone in the audience, did it not seem to have a little bit of caliente?
Yeah, they were right on the heels of that Las Vegas performance. And I think that's the first time, because it's weird. It was at the end of the season. I'm like, they're going to turn it around and find their way this season. I paid no mind that we were saying that in like week 16.
Right.
But I was genuinely convinced, this is not a good Kansas City Chiefs team. And they're going to have to play the opening weekend of the NFL playoffs, and they're potentially going to have to do it on the road.
Right.
But now that they got through Miami, and it also timed out with Miami, falling off. But the line is very respectful of these Kansas City Chiefs.
Well, it should be, right?
What if they figure it out in the playoffs? Have they? It's hard to judge off of that performance given all the conditions out there.
Yeah.
But are they figuring it out?
I think they figured out some things, which is why at that time I was still high on them, and maybe it wasn't the hottest take, but it definitely wasn't the most popular take. I got a little bit of blowback for that. I did not retweet the video. I shall be retweeting it if it proves to be correct, which is very Stugotzian of me.
Yep.
So this Chiefs defense has been good the entire season, and I think that's sort of why I've held out hope even during some of the real offensive doldrums. I think they're a young defense. They're super aggressive. They're super well coached. Steve Spagnuolo is doing an amazing job. You saw that against Miami. A lot of the second-year players are playing really well. George Karlaftis up front. I really like the defense. The question, of course, is offensively. That's what Mike's talking about when he asks if they have figured it out. And I think it was, actually around the time they were playing Buffalo and they lost the Kadarius Toney game that I felt they had finally settled on the correct formula, which is throw the ball to Rashee Rice, like a lot, like most of the time, like pretty much no one else, maybe Travis Kelce here and there. And you saw that come to fruition in the playoff game.
I think why the Vegas game also scared me was Rice had started coming into his own, and they were still feeding Rice. And
they lost.
And they got blown out.
Yes.
Despite the defense playing very well and not allowing a completion outside of that first quarter. So I think what scared me the most was that the results weren't there while Rice was coming online. And also, what am I to do with a very clear dip in form from Travis Kelce? He's of an age where this is expected.
You're obsessed with this.
But he's not the same guy.
He's not focused.
And if he does it in the playoffs, like, to me, that's like I can be as good as I ever was once.
By the way, I'm not saying that. That's what people are saying, though. He's not focused enough.
No, it's not. To me, it's not the focus.
Are you
to
playing
me, it said he's not as good.
The Taylor Swift fire, Stu?
What?
What happened?
Has Stu been poking the bear on the Taylor Swift tapes?
I was just trying to warn Travis Kelce, my friend, what was going to happen if he stopped, if he dropped balls consistently, if the Chiefs didn't go as far as everyone wants them to go or thinks they're going to go. The fans are going to say that Travis Kelce not focused. He's focused on Taylor Swift. He's focused on their relationship.
Stu's not saying it, though.
I'm not saying it. Okay, he's focused on the podcast.
It.
He's focused on shooting commercials.
Oh,
he's focused on everything but football. These are what Kansas City Chiefs fans are going to say. I found out they're already saying it. They've been saying it all season, Mina. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, so you're hiding behind the fans are saying. I do like.
I'm not hiding behind anything. I'm warning a friend, Mina.
I do like that your take about focus extends to podcasting and all the other pursuits that Travis Kelce has. Mike, he is not playing at the level he was last year. I do think, however, his position and the nature of what he does with Mahomes, getting open on the scramble drills, that connection. I think in the postseason, I think back to actually the Rams Patriots Super Bowl where like Gronk had that like one final incredible drive where him and Tom Brady just did the, mental connection thing, and it was all they needed. And I kind of feel the same way about Kelsey and Mahomes. To answer your question about Rice, though, you're right. He did start coming online a bit at the end of the season, becoming more of a target. But the way that they've used him has evolved. I thought in this last game, what was really notable, he absolutely killed Miami with crossers, right? I think Mahomes went like 5 or 6 targeting him on like deep overs. That's something they didn't really do earlier in the season. And I think as his trust in him has grown, his route tree has grown, the offense has gotten better as a result of that.
All right, I've waited 6 minutes to finally ask you a Baker Mayfield question. I am so excited for this game on Sunday because I'm happy genuinely for Lions fans and for Baker supporters that have stood by our guy.
Great stories
all these years.
Yeah.
I know that he struggled, and you could maybe blame an injury toward like those last 2 weeks of the season. I was kind of getting worried. I'm like, oh no, is this magical run over? And then he had a brilliant performance against an Eagles defense that is an absolute mess. But that still doesn't take away from the fact that Baker maybe made 2 bad throws in that entire game.
Played well.
Could have easily had 400 yards passing if his receivers showed up the way that he did. That was a dominant performance from Baker Mayfield. I know he's a peaks and valleys guy, but is he finally settling in and fulfilling some of that promise?
Are you asking me if he has
the
I believe they call it the goods?
The
goods,
If he has the goods?
Yes.
I think he's good. I don't think he's at the level of several of the quarterbacks in the playoffs, certainly in the AFC. But I think right now he is playing well enough so that it provided complementary football is being played by Tampa, they can certainly win. They can beat inferior opponents. They can beat a defense like the Eagles, which, by the way, I thought that experience was really telling because on the other side of the ball, like how much more confident did you feel watching Baker Mayfield in that offense versus Philadelphia? Watching when the ball would leave his hands and you're watching the TV copy, you can't see who's on the other end. You would watch it thinking he's probably going to throw an accurate pass. Mike Evans dropped it, whereas never felt that confidence with Philly. I do think it's a continuation of what we saw a lot this season. It was, Baker was not perfect. It was inconsistent at times, but he improved in ways that, Mike, to me, feel sustainable and also are things he didn't do earlier in his career, specifically the sack avoidance. That was all, you remember that was always an issue with Baker Mayfield, taking sacks, not getting the ball out quick enough. This year, he was the 8th fastest quarterback in terms of time to throw. He was excellent on quick passes, 2.5 seconds or less. That's different from who he was at various points in Cleveland and certainly Carolina. So to see that, I think, is really encouraging for his career. And I think that regardless of what happens this week, he'll probably stick around in Tampa.
The Eagles are interesting, Mina. What do you do there? What do you do with Sirianni?
I lean towards moving on, not just because of Sirianni and the meltdown in all phases and the way things fell apart, but also the alternatives who are out there, right? Like, you're not just moving on from Sirianni. You'd hypothetically be moving on from him to one of these incredible coaching candidates, Belichick, Vrabel, Mike McDonald, Ben Johnson. There's so many good options at the moment. I don't think it's like a complete gimme because, obviously Sirianni's success thus far, but to fail that the way they did, it's really hard not to lay that at the feet of the head coach, especially because that head coach defensively made one of the all-time backfires, elevating Matt Patricia weirdly in season. It didn't make sense. It felt like scapegoating, proved to be the case. And then offensively, remember, Sirianni used to call plays. At any point this season, he could have stepped in, taken it back, or I'm sure had some sort of influence on what we saw. But from the beginning until the very bitter end, the offensive coaching, the play calling was a massive issue in Philadelphia.
Why do you think Belichick in Dallas didn't work out? We were discussing this earlier. Did Belichick say he wanted to bring the entire staff? He wanted full control? Who made that decision?
To be fair, we're just making the assumption that Jared did the old kick of the tires.
Right. Yes. Well, he did.
Right.
Yeah.
There's been no reporting about Jerry doing that. Actually, can I take another crack at a Stugotz take? Because my opinion about this is a little bit Stugotzian, and I know I failed with my Chiefs hot take. All right,
well,
Stu.
no, listen, I hope you're not offended. I'm just saying, if you're going to go Chiefs, the take to go with is Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, never winning another Super Bowl again together. How about that? That's a good take. You can use that if
I
you
don't
want.
believe that.
It doesn't matter if you believe it or not, Mina.
It matters.
I love that, actually.
Tony wants it. Tony's going to claim it. I'm telling you right now.
I'm going to say something that I actually do kind of believe and that I think is something Stu would say. Bill Belichick, NFC East, scared? Bill Belichick, rumored to be linked with the Atlanta Falcons. That's heating up right now. You're hearing reporting about a second interview. NFC South, easy? Bill Belichick taking the easy road to break the wins record? Is Bill Belichick scared of competition? Is he tired of playing teams that are better than him in the AFC East after years of playing in an easy conference? Does he want to go to another easy division? Is Bill Belichick a front runner? People are asking questions. Many people are saying this.
And not unlike Stugotz, she's stealing other people's takes.
That's great.
It's incredible.
Here's another take for you. Jordan Love will win more Super Bowls than Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre combined. How about that?
So he's got to win. He's got to win 3.
He's got to win 3.
I think that's unlikely because there's only 4 quarterbacks in the history of the sport off the top of my head, right, who have won that many. But I do think Jordan Love has a chance of winning at least one. I mean, he looks incredible to me. The way he's played the second half of the season, what we saw in the postseason, I am fully bought in on him. They're a young team. They're so well built. The roster is well, like the coaching is amazing. There are very few teams right now that I would want more to be a fan of than the Green Bay Packers. Houston Texans have a similar thing.
Because they're going to be good for a long time, right?
Exactly. That's what I mean. Yeah.
How do they do that?
I don't know, dude. As a Jets fan, what is that like? Seeing Green Bay go from one elite quarterback to another elite quarterback to another. Like, how does that feel in your core watching Jordan Love, seeing that they clearly did it again, knowing that you're on the other side of that trade and you got their, sloppy seconds?
It feels terrible, and here's what I know, Mina. In the year 2037, the Jets will trade for Jordan Love. I hate that.
When he's bad.
Mina, tell me you have watched the first episode of True Detective Night Country.
It's back?
Mike,
it's back.
Really? Prestige television, moody, atmospheric shots, banger of an opening theme song, Jodie Foster. Of course, I'm watching True Detective. I am loving it so far. Only been one episode, but I think it is like a return to form.
I am watching True Detective and loving it. They've always kind of flirted with the supernatural, but then it would be rooted in reality. And season 4 is leaning way in to the supernatural in ways that aren't necessarily canon for the True Detective series. But I'm going to enjoy the ride, no doubt. I am as confused as I've ever been watching a True Detective, just because I was so disarmed by the supernatural elements to this show. Like, the way that it started was so unlike anything I expected from the trailer.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil for anyone,
spoils,
because
please.
it's this is not a spoiler, but I do think it's going to be an open question as to how much of the supernatural is real. It kind of reminds me a little bit of another HBO show, little watched, recapped by 2 folks here. Accents frequently impersonated. The Outsider, the source of the Grief Eater nickname, all rights reserved. Mina Kimes trademark, came up with that, which I loved also. So I like shows that kind of walk that line where you never really, it takes a second for you to decide whether or not mystical things are happening. But Mina, I hope they keep straddling it.
Mina, are we saying they're just walking the line because of the 3 previous seasons? Because if this was just a show on its own, we just assume, this is a supernatural show. But we can't get one by Pizzolatto because there's always some sort of twist. But if this was just standalone, and technically it is, but it is branded True Detective, we're wondering if there's going to be an okie doke here.
Nick Pizzolatto, the creator of the show, we can't get one by Pizzolatto. It's quite a sense. I don't think anything happened. This is hard because we're like doing the thing where we're trying to talk about the premiere without revealing anything that actually happened in the premiere. I don't think anything happened, Mike, that is necessarily supernatural. natural. I'll just say
I agree.
that.
I
Thank you,
agree with
Jess.
Mina.
Oh. Okay, I can't spoil it, but
Tony-
hard to disagree.
Tony has the most important contribution to this conversation.
Nick Pizzolatto sounds like a great second baseman. Sprays it all over the yard. by
No
the way.
doubt.
Yeah.
He's
Batting
an
seventh.
Eagles position coach. Come on.
So do you think this is going to be good? Or because some
Wait, Mike, hold on. I have a question for both of you because season 1 was great, right? We talked about it
season
every
1
single
was
week.
great.
Season 2, season 3 were just
Season 3 was good. Season 2 consensus.
Bad.
I cape up
Season
for
two,
season
bad.
2.
Right.
I'm not gonna.
Bad.
I understand how people draw that
Mina
conclusion. For me, I think the biggest issue with season 2 is that it followed season 1.
Right.
And if season 2 happened in reverse order,
It's like following Belichick.
it
right.
would have been viewed differently. But I
I
get
can't
why people
believe
say it's
Rachel
bad.
McAdams was in season 2 in retrospect. I was just thinking, like, they had such famous people, like Vince Vaughn, the stupidest character, so misused. Season 3, I liked. That was the Mahershala Ali season. Although I didn't love how the only way you could tell what decade they were in was by looking at Ali's hair and just like staring at it and trying to figure out if it was like an inch longer or
I
an
agree
inch
with
shorter.
Mina again. Wow.
I
3
did
for
like
3.
what I liked the most about 3 outside of the performances was there was an episode where they hinted at a shared universe with season 1.
Yeah.
Whereas that's like a full-on tip of the hat, and like this is actually a part of the same universe. Whereas in episode 1 of season 4, there's more of like a little Easter egg for fans, legacy fans of True Detective. With I won't spoil it.
You're
but with,
talking
like,
about
the beer. Oh, I was gonna. Yeah,
I
there
was
was
seeing
also
Spiral.
the. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
not a spoiler. It's
Well,
in the season
no,
2.
Spiral was invoked in season 3 too. But
You can't spoil season 2.
okay, there's a Lone Star beer hanging there, which is how do you get a Lone Star beer in
guys-
Alaska?
Interesting. That is an Easter egg. Do you guys have the thing, or whenever you see like a tangle of branches or a tumbleweed, do you turn to your signature other and whisper Carcosa, the way my husband and I do, which is a very obscure callback. It's not obscure, but it's
I
a
don't
callback
see
to season 1.
tumbleweed that often in Miami.
No,
weirdly.
but sticks
Forever.
together. Sticks together freak me out because of Blair Witch.
What's
Sticks
the last-
together, right? When I was no, it's all this that tumble a stick. I don't even remember, but when we got married around the time that season 1 came out, maybe not long after, and literally I wanted to buy an altar, and all the trendy altars are like just bunches of sticks haphazardly tied together, and I refused to use any of them because they all reminded me of Carcosa, and I was like, I cannot get
I'm with
married
you,
in
Mina.
Carcosa.
Sticks are creepy. I'm not a big fan of sticks.
Like when people tie sticks together and
That's
make
right.
like an effigy, there's nothing worse.
CJ Stroud is damn good.
Yeah, that Mike just keeps blurting that out.
He's
He just keeps
just
saying
Speaking of
it.
spirals.
He's
Speaking of season 1.
he's damn good. Now
Speaking of the Lone Star State.
I do think that there was a bit of fool's gold when it came to Cleveland's defense when he looked at their home road splits, but and they did not play well at all. But CJ Stroud was beating them with ball placement and throwing guys open. The guy's incredible. He can make every throw, and he seems unfazed, an unflappable rookie at this point, going up against one of the top-rated defenses in the league. I mean, say what you will, you could not be surprised by the result, but the performance itself I did find surprising.
Yeah. I found it surprising because of the strength of the Browns defense and how easily they carved them up with scheme. Not what CJ Stroud did. He's been credible all season long. I think what makes CJ so impressive is he both plays in an offense where you watch it and you think, oh, this is why their offensive coordinator, Bobby Sloak, is getting head coaching interviews. Schematically, they appear to be a step ahead. And he was a step ahead of Jim Schwartz, who's a very good defensive coordinator. So that's a credit to him. But then he also goes above and beyond. Like, there are the moments where like the tight end's wide open and they're manipulating with all the motions, and you watch the Browns defenders flowing in one direction and a guy's running wide open and leaking to the other side of the field. They do that. But then there are plays where pressure does get through, or where CJ has to do something on his own, create, and he does that too. And that's, of course, it's similar to actually, I really feel the same way about Jordan Love in Green Bay, where you have both the scheme that elevates everybody, but then the quarterback who elevates the offense beyond the scheme.
Are you going to be surprised if they beat Baltimore?
Yeah.
Really?
I do think, yeah. I think I went back and watched the week 1 game, which is not that useful in some ways because both of these teams are very different from now. Stroud is for obvious reasons, he was very new at the time. He is now he's much more seasoned. And Baltimore was actually missing a lot of players who are playing now. But I think this Ravens offense a couple things. They're so balanced. I think offensively, they have so many different answers for the things defense throw at them. Like, we talked about this on my podcast, Mina Kimes Show featuring Lenny. If you guys like football, check it out wherever you get your pods.
Well done.
The difference between this team and the 2019 team. The 2019 team, remember, Lamar was amazing, but in the playoffs, the Titans basically took away the middle of the field and they said, throw outside, and Ravens couldn't do it. They can do that now. Lamar's been the best quarterback in football on intermediate passes outside the numbers. If you play the pass, they will run the ball. And then defensively, they're really different from Baltimore in a way that I think presents much more challenges to Stroud and this offense. They're much more, they're trickier, what they do with their pressures and coverages. I think they have really talented coverage players, more so, frankly, than Cleveland. So I do think that this is going to come to an end here, but I wouldn't be surprised if it looks more competitive than it did in week 1.
Will you be surprised if the Packers go to San Francisco and beat the Niners?
Yeah, I mean,
Really?
that's less about Jordan Love and Dan. Not Dan. Wow, Dan.
What happened?
I just can't believe I called you Dan.
I can't either. I mean,
It's like when you call your teacher mom.
It's
Like
offensive
I'm
to
so
me,
I'm
yes.
so distraught by this.
Are you okay? Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay. Yeah.
all right.
I don't know who's like that, who that's an insult to of all three of us. People can work that out. Yeah, yeah. Oh, geez.
You're really
the
shook by
Packers
this.
Shake it off, Mina. It's okay.
We can keep it moving.
The Packers defense is bad. They're really bad. And I just don't think they'll be able to stop the San Francisco offense.
I'm trying to think of a Dan question. It was a good suggestion by Jess.
Wait, yes,
but I don't
Stu,
ask
come
his
up with-
questions.
Stu, you've been asking me all these like straightforward football
Should
questions.
we be playing
Come up
football
with-
anymore? I mean, is it too dangerous?
No, come on, keep going. You do better than that. What is the most Dan question?
That was
you
a good
could ask
one.
That's a
right
pretty good one right there. Do you do what I do every Sunday where I enjoy watching football, but I also say to myself, we shouldn't be playing football?
I think you'd have to. I'm not going to answer that. I think you'd have to isolate like a single injury that most people missed and ask me, did that make you question the whole affair? Did you question your role in the grand circus that
You called me Dan.
I'm
She's so
dressing more
embarrassed.
like you lately. He's been
Mina,
wearing like more dad-like clothes.
Mina.
Yes.
Yeah, I think you got a stylist. Mina,
It's not
He
just Valerie.
didn't get a kid.
I'm
I can tell you
gonna
that.
I'm gonna hold you to these predictions because you had a Stugotz moment last week where you picked both the Lions and the Rams.
I did. Yeah.
So kudos to you. Salute.
So
But-
proud of you.
But I'm
So
gonna make
proud
you
of
make predictions on these
that
games.
didn't work out for me, by the way. I picked the Lions
It's impossible
on
not
my
to work
podcast,
out.
and nobody noticed. I
Right.
picked the Rams, unfortunately, as part of a unanimous panel on TV. That
Yeah.
teams love it when you do that, and you're wrong. That's fine. It's their
Right.
prerequisite. But my point is, my Stugotzian approach backfired in a big way. I should have done the reverse.
Yes. Yes.
So I'm
Also,
gonna
the move is to always be the one person who picks the other team because no one cares if you're wrong.
right.
But if you're right, fans treat you like Nostradamus.
Mhm.
Like they're like, oh, Mina Kimes knows ball. She's the one person who believed in us on this stupid panel who says former players have to be analysts. This chick knows what she's talking about. All you have to do is be the one person off.
All right. So straight up winners for the divisional round of the NFL.
Yeah. I'm going Niners, Ravens, Lions, Chiefs. So Chiefs are my only underdog, I think.
Wow. Well, she has to stay with the Chiefs now.
I gotta stay with it. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
AFC Championship game. The
I'm
take
gonna-
was
how
fine.
long am I going to wait to retweet that? Probably like 10 seconds. I'll probably no, even if the Chiefs are like leading with, I don't know if I might want to play it safe, but I'm going to smash that. I'm going to quote tweet it with the eyes emoji, like the eyes in between two little trees.
I love Josh Allen though. I want him to win so badly. I do.
I
love
do
him.
want the people of Buffalo to have that,
Yeah.
but
I
you
would
gotta
love that too. I'm not rooting against them. I enjoy them and I enjoy that quarterback a lot.
but I am really it's the most look forward to game of the slate for a reason, not just because it's the best matchup, but it's got the best drama to it. And if Josh Allen is to do this, he has to go through the boogeyman, and I love that about this sport.
When he's done with that, Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
Check out Mina's show, the Mina Kimes Show, featuring Lenny. Mina, we love you. We will talk to you next week. Enjoy the football. I can't believe you called me Dan.
I saw something on my Twitter feed yesterday, and it was so confusing that I thought it was a joke initially, especially because I saw a trailer for this J-Lo musical. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this whole thing, but I saw the cast first, and it said Jennifer Lopez, Ben Affleck, Fat Joe, Neil deGrasse Tyson. This was how I'm just telling you how I experienced this. And I saw about 30 seconds of this montage-like trailer, and there was J-Lo music in the background. And in the description, right after it said Neil deGrasse Tyson, it said that it was a musical. And I was like, is this like a Super Bowl commercial campaign? Is this like a fake thing? But apparently she's making a musical about what I presume is her life.
Yeah, that seems to be it. It looks terrible.
You know, it looks really bad. It was really bad, and it was like, I can't even follow this joke through because what I'm seeing on my screen, on my phone right now is so bad. It was cringy. It was cringy. Who asked for this?
It's a musical, right?
Yeah, this is the first musical that's been a preview that's like, oh, this is a musical that I have no interest in seeing.
Really?
Like,
Did you
like
watch?
musicals.
Hold on. Did you watch a Cats trailer?
All right, but I wanted
This
to
is
watch
the
that.
second musical.
Yeah, but I wanted to
trailer.
watch that, and I didn't. But
Which
I
one
wanted
was
to watch
Cats?
that from
Cats.
Cats.
Oh, Cats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I wanted to watch
loved
that
Cats.
from a perspective of how terrible it was.
Cats
Like,
was so bad.
it's
Did they put
different
the
than
buttholes in or
cringy.
take them out?
They didn't have the buttholes in.
Pro
but-
butthole.
Yeah. Right? So the part about this that just looks terrible is not only is it like super self-indulgent, but it just seems like J-Lo acting as herself doesn't look good. It's like, how can you not act as yourself well? Like there are all these people, like Fat Joe is her therapist, like you said. And it's like, I didn't
say that. So Fat Joe is
Fat
her
Joe
therapist?
is her therapist.
Okay.
Fat
By the way, J-Lo, Fat Joe, Neil deGrasse Tyson, great Celebrity Jeopardy lineup.
Ooh, that would be good.
Not sure about the movie though.
She
I
does
think the
make.
issue
Who does
here-
Neil deGrasse Tyson play?
He's like, is he playing himself? Like, is
Who
everybody
else can
playing
he
themselves?
Fat Joe's not playing.
I don't
Fat
think
Joe's
he's-
playing a
Unless
therapist.
he's
I don't think he's
actually
playing
a
the quarterback of the
therapist.
Jets. Like, is Ben Affleck playing himself or like a?
Maybe?
Because there was a guy in this at the start of this trailer, and again, I only made it like 30 seconds that she was loving up on. That was not Ben Affleck.
Well, she gets confronted by her friends about having sex addiction. That's in like the first 20 minutes or 20 seconds of the trailer. So that's a plot point at
All right.
some point as well, which is interesting. I'm not allowed to say I don't
dude,
like J-Lo.
Ben Affleck's had like
Only if you say it like that.
Ben Affleck's had a very interesting
I don't like
career
J-Lo.
because he was like hottest thing in Hollywood. Then he does a poorly received superhero movie with Jennifer Lopez, critically panned.
Gia.
Builds G Lee, and then
Close.
then he builds himself back up again behind the scenes, filmmaker, director,
The Town.
and then he's like, you know what is a good move for me? Let me do a bad superhero movie again because that worked out so much so the first time, and now he's like revisiting the J-Lo stuff, and he's like, yeah, let's do a movie together because that went so well the first time. He's not learning from perceived career mistakes. I'm not going to tell him who to love.
I'm gonna zag here. Everyone seems to be crushing this. Like she tends to make good choices, right? I mean, isn't like she was good.
Hustlers was good.
Hustlers was good. People liked her Super Bowl performance. No,
Loved it.
I loved it.
I
was
just feel
great.
like there's not a lot where she's like. I feel like she's like good at making
Dude,
choices.
The 30 seconds of this thing that I saw, I felt secondhand.
I say that
embarrassment.
having seen. I have not seen the trailer. Maybe I should go
The
watch
thing
it and come
that's
back.
funny about this is that the recent trend in trailers has been don't tell anyone this is a
Right.
musical.
Right.
And then
with ones
people
that are
show
supposed
up
to be
at
good
Wonka
musicals.
or
Yeah,
like Mean
I
Girls,
saw
and
the,
they're
I saw a
"What?"
reaction vid to a
Mean
crowd,
Girls one?
the Mean Girls, where there's an audible groan. Oh,
It is very funny. I mean, why would you not tell an audience they're about to sit in a musical?
I just watched the trailer for this, and there are several scenes that look like they're out of a Marvel movie. Like she's in space.
Huge
All right, I'm
thing.
intrigued.
When did
Yeah.
J-Lo go to space?
That's why Neil deGrasse Tyson's there.
oh!
He's in space.
I'm left with a lot of
That's
questions
just funny if
about
Neil's in
what
space
this is.
floating.
I
Like,
am.
Maybe he teaches her what's in space.
Maybe I'm
She
in.
wants to go
I'm
to space.
talking this one out, and I'm thinking I'm in. Just as a cultural event.
I can't tell what's happening, which does make me intrigued.
Yeah. It's got a little Saltburn aspect to it. Like, wait till you see this.
I saw that, by the way.
You
Yeah?
did. What'd
Yeah.
you think?
I get why everyone's talking about it, but I tend to be. It wasn't an enjoyable experience. I mean, I enjoyed the shock value of some of these scenes.
Was it ruined because Dan went out of his way to ruin the shock value aspects of this?
I was kind of expecting something shocking. I felt like it was just a rinse repeat of like, oh, we're moving towards something here. Ooh, sexual. I like sexual. This is gonna be. Oh God! And then it would like continue on with the movie, and you're like, all right, that was weird before. This is gonna be good. All right, we're back. This is just a normal. Ooh, is he good? Ooh, he likes that guy. Ooh, is he gay? Is that guy gay? This is awesome. There's tension here. Oh God! It was just like a rinse repeat of like kind of normal movie building up to something, and then something insanely shocking, and then a little bit more build. It was
a
just
little
like
hand spit thing.
By the time we got to the graveyard, I was just like, you can't. There's nothing you can show me at this point that's gonna shock me.
Yeah,
Apparently
And
that
then
was
he did.
improvised.
Yeah, it was improvised.
he improvised the.
He improvised
the
that
death?
scene. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, he improvised
All
that
right.
scene.
He's such a little weird
I need
freak.
to
I
see
love
a
him.
documentary.
I love him.
I need to see a reverse camera angle on the. No, not from the tombstone. I mean,
Looking at the director?
No. I want to see the
I want that
the
one.
filmmakers.
Like, all
It's
right,
gonna be a
Barry.
weird shot from down below. like-
Sure.
Just and also
In, out.
not super flattering for him because you're just seeing the tip. But at the other side of the camera, I do want to see like how does one
They just let him
shout
explore
out
the
to
character.
the confidence to just like we're doing.
So let him
that.
work. Hold up. Let him cook. What's he doing?
There's a Tony
He's
on
taking his
set
pants
saying,
off. Hold on.
Let my boy cook.
He's doing something. Hold up. It's raining. Put some more water.
I'm picturing him like, during shootings, like, let me do one more. I got an idea.
Do we get it? Did we did we
It's
get
like, yeah,
it?
buddy, we got it.
Hold
We got
on.
it.
Okay, yeah.
How embarrassing for him if they didn't use that in the movie. And then
director's
like
cut
they
it
had the rap
before.
party and they're like,
That was
I
weird,
remember
right?
yeah, it was a great movie, but I gotta tell you, there was this one Barry just started. In the grave.
No, even weirder would be if they include it, and then he's like, "Oh, you guys were filming that."
I think the funniest scenario. What is the funny? Man, it's pretty funny just privately at the party, and like this would be a grail of footage that it would be talked about in parties. That one time Barry really went for it on set, and he was just feeling, and he thought this
use it,
was the
though.
best, and we didn't use it. Everybody would be trying to find this footage.
So good.
Let my boy. He improvised that.
Yeah, he did. They
I don't
said
believe
that.
that.
There were several scenes that he improvised, but he said that
Bathtub?
No, the bathtub scene was not improvised, but
That's the most
that was the
stomach-churning
main
one, I
one.
think, for me.
Well, because it's
That's the
not
first
rude.
one. That's the
drains
first
are
shock.
yucky.
Yeah,
I
it's the
mean,
drain.
Yeah, it's the drain.
It's the
part.
drain for me.
Disgusting.
It's not like shocking. It's just like, ooh, yucky.
It's like,
Rid
ooh,
of
you
death.
know how much hair and mold is down there?
Yeah, because then he
Oh, and it's
just
like a
starts like making a
2-century-old
slurpy sound, like, "Oh, you're getting
tub.
A good
He's
slurp.
getting in it.
yeah, you're getting
Didn't like
in
it.
there."
Didn't like it.
I have a rule in my house that any drain related, like whether anything plumbing related, anything in the sink, if there's something stuck in the sink, that's Lehman's job.
That's a good
Anything
rule.
yucky, Lehman's job.
I have a tip for most people.
Hell yeah.
Only most.
Yeah, well, because I do think that some in our audience know about this. The plunger, the toilet plunger, it's called the toilet plunger. We have put it in our minds that it's only for plunging toilets. So when you run into a sink issue or a clogged drain in your tub, you call a plumber. You try to figure out what this is. No, my friends. The plunger. The plunger, it fixes your toilets when it's clogged. It can fix a sink. It can fix a shower drain.
But there's two different types of plungers.
What if I'm choking?
There's a toilet plunger and a sink plunger, and they're shaped differently.
Okay. The toilet plunger can fix any kind of hole.
But is there poopy on it?
Well, that's the thing.
What if you need the snake though? You
I
know,
have
put the
I have
snake
both.
in there.
I haven't needed a plumber.
Barry got the snake in there.
Can I
Yeah, he
say
did.
something?
I'm very proud of my track record in fixing toilets.
I'm very
and plumbing.
ashamed of what I'm about to say. I stink at using a plunger.
Me too.
Like anytime I've needed to
elite.
use one, like I get
Call
in there,
Mike.
I can't get the suction.
Yeah, I can't get it to
would-
stick.
I enjoy it so
I do the
much.
motion, and then I have to do the thing where I'm like, is the poop in there? And then like just water falls out. It's like I'm like you
gotta angle the
I
plug.
never
Gotta
look
angle
like
it.
more of an
Dude,
idiot.
there's like
than
a
when I'm
sweet
trying to
spot.
plunge. I'm like,
There's a sweet spot where you're in an air pocket and you know it, and it's just right. Oh,
always just a bunch of water that falls out of that. I'm always looking for
No.
that poop. Where's that poop in there? Where's that toilet paper?
I enjoy it so much that you should call me over. I will drive up to Broward,
Dude.
and I will unclog your
Because
pipes.
it always feels like you got it. You get it in there, and you're like, oh,
no,
we're
no,
home,
no,
baby.
because
I
then
feel the
there's like a
suction.
little like
Yeah, and then it's
Whoa.
just liquid
Okay,
falling out.
that's
and
enough.
It's just.
I just wonder if Saltburn qualifies as a vampire movie.
I thought it was going to take that turn at one point.